So it's 2021 and you just finished watching The God of High School. So you have now developed a new thirst for close combats. Or perhaps, after years of watching your favorite type of martial art, you have decided to give it a shot. Of course not in real life, because that requires you to go out and socialize with other human beings. Instead, you hop on Steam to find a video game that is all about martial arts or close combat. After researching for hours, you narrowed down your list to 2 games, Absolver and For Honor, which despite their hidden potential, have seen a steady decline in their player base. Absolver was developed by Slowclap, a French team that consisted of only 6 people at the time. The game was released on August 2017 and has sold over 300,000 copies to date. For Honor was developed by Ubisoft Montreal and released on February 2017. A game that had created so much hype up until release, only to fade away after a few months. Today, I will help you choose which game to play by going over 3 things: story mode, multiplayer mode, and combat. Hopefully the comparison of 2 titles in these 3 areas will give you a solid idea on which you want to spend your money. So without further ado, let's jump into our first discussion point, which is the story mode. This is where I was surprised the most. Initially, I was not planning to cover this area since I was under impression that For Honor could not compete with Absolver in the story mode. After all, For Honor was never advertised for its story mode, or if it was, it never stood out to me. To my surprise, not only For Honor has a story mode, but it is pretty decent. Story mode in For Honor is in a linear format with 3 chapters that cover the 3 different factions in the game: Knights, Vikings, and Samurais. From the very beginning, I was entertained by the very well done voice lines.
The day that I met the Blackstone Legion and Holden Cross.
The storytelling progresses as our heroes narrate their thoughts and experiences.
Taking the beach was one thing. Crossing the mire was another.
The playthroughs were immersing, and despite my goldfish-like attention span, I enjoyed them a lot. Although my time with some of the protagonists was short, nevertheless, they each left a unique and unforgettable impression. There is no historical accuracy within the stories, and it was even a bit confusing in the beginning, but it all started to make sense towards the end. Overall, it took me a little over 5 hours to finish the story mode. In contrast, Absolver's storytelling is very ambiguous. It is very similar to Dark Souls, where you have to explore the semi-open world to gather information about what is going on. Yes, you heard it right. Absolver has a semi-open world where you can explore along with other players on the server. As the protagonist, your goal is to find all the masters within the world and beat them, thus inheriting their unique skills and proving your worth. I personally really enjoy storytelling that is done in an ambiguous style, where it forces the player to put the pieces together and make sense of what is going on. The art style of the game makes this adventure very immersing. The world feels like a painting begging to be explored. There are a couple of cutscenes within the game that help you with figuring out what is going on. Overall, for a small team, they have done a great job. So, in summary, if you're looking for a game that tells its story like a movie, then For Honor is your game. But if you enjoy the thrill of exploring an open world where you have to figure out what is going on, then Absolver is your game. Now let us talk about the multiplayer mode. In my opinion, this is where For Honor takes the lead. After all, Ubisoft is constantly putting out new content, whereas Absolver has not gotten any content update over a year. The devs have stopped supporting the game to work on a new title called Sifu or Sifu. Rumor has it that they might come back to Absolver in a near future. For Honor offers many different types of content, from faction wars, where you can access after completing the story mode, to more traditional modes like duels, team deathmatch, elimination, breach, and yada yada yada. Some of the modes are dead at times, and it is almost impossible to find anyone to play with. For Honor has a variety of heroes where you can unlock them through in-game currency. just like Rainbow Six Siege or League of Legends, where you have the option to either grind or pay actual money to unlock and recruit these heroes. You can technically grind for everything in this game. In contrast, Absolver does not charge for anything other than cosmetics. Everything else is just unlocked as you progress through the game. As I mentioned before, the world of Absolver is semi-open, where you can interact with all the other players on the server. Besides that, you can queue up for 1v1 duels, 3v3 duels, and some dungeons. That's the extent of Absolver's multiplayer mode. Also, there are schools aka clans that you can join, and these schools compete in a leaderboard each season. Absolver has so much more potential with its content, but unfortunately it seems that it will never reach it. Lastly, let's discuss combat. For Honor and Absolver both promote a close combat experience. In my opinion, this is where Absolver shines. After all, Absolver provides a very fluid yet explosive combat experience where the players have almost an infinite number of combinations in their disposals to make their own fighting style. Each set of moves are unlocked by progressing through the game or joining schools. Then you have the option to go to a practice room where you can choose which moves you want to use during fights. It will feel overwhelming at first, but once you find your fighting style, everything will clear up. Also, aside from movesets, the game does offer a few techniques like gold linking, where learning them is crucial for duels. Think of these as the fundamentals. On top of that, you have unique skills that you inherit from all the masters you beat within your journey that you can use in your fights.
Is how it is done, you see?
In contrast, For Honor offers a directional style of fighting with all the good stuff like parries, bashing, blocking, fakes, and dodging. It is very easy to pick up, but very challenging to master. As I mentioned before, For Honor has a pool of heroes that you can unlock and recruit. Each hero has a set of special moves that sets them apart from other heroes. So I suggest doing your research on each of the heroes beforehand to decide which one will fit you better. The fighting feels explosive but slow at times. Once you perfect your hero, you will be able to find your own fighting style. Unfortunately, even then, it feels very limited. In summary, Absolver offers a very unique and fluid hand-on-hand combat where everyone in the community has an opportunity to create their own unique fighting style. For Honor offers an explosive close combat melee fight where despite being easy to pick up, it is very hard to master, thus setting apart experienced versus inexperienced players. In my opinion, Absolver combat has a higher skill ceiling where even the most experienced players are set apart from each other. Boys and girls, we reached the end of the video. If you found this video to be helpful, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. If you hate this video, hit the dislike button twice just to show me how much you really disliked it. This is Pashma and I'm out of here.
Et parsem natural inter, telembrisant et immen, tan placer con rayon.